Now, we are now joined by national security reporter of the Washington Post, Greg Miller, live from Maryland in USA. Greg, this is a huge story that we are tracking from America. And can you give us more details about this proposed committee and what likely is it likely to probe against Donald Trump? What are the briefings that he is said to have ignored? And will this panel have any legal authority?
Well, I think it's too early to answer some of those questions. It's not clear yet that that this commission will become a reality. I think that will take several months for us to figure out in the United States. Right now, it's been proposed and called for by an influential member of Congress. But of course, President Trump has Republican allies in the Senate who would probably rather not see an investigation of this sort. If it comes, and I think there's still a good chance that we will have some kind of commission or investigation in the United States, then I think one of the things that commission will look at very closely is what did the president know and when? When was he told certain information about the coronavirus? And the daily briefs that U.S. intelligence agencies prepare for him will become very, very important for that kind of inquiry. They will want to look at what was included in those briefings, when were they relayed to the White House, and did the president even bother to read them?
Absolutely. If anyone just looks at the numbers coming in from across America, more than 1 million people in America alone have been infected by this disease by any stretch of imagination, by any parameters. It is a disaster as far as the U.S. is concerned. How many meetings or how many briefings is the U.S. president or was he given? Till America declared a state of emergency before that came in early March, I believe. What were the steps taken to prevent such a disaster in the United States?
So what our story today reports, and this is new information, is that the coronavirus, the threat of it, the spread of it, was mentioned in at least 12 briefings that were prepared for the president in January and February. The first of these came in very early January, and it spoke of an outbreak in China. Raised concerns about the Chinese possibly suppressing information about this outbreak, but this was an important marker. It indicates that the president was informed about this very, very early on, much earlier than the public, of course, knew that this was a serious threat. And those warnings continued, deep into February and into March, at a time when the president continued to really downplay the virus. Even into very late in February and early March, he was saying things like, there are only 15 cases in the United States, it's going to go down to 0, it will all go away like a miracle, it's just like the flu, it doesn't pose a danger to anybody.
Right.
And of course, as you just said, there are now 1 million people in the United States infected with this. It didn't go down to 0.
What Donald Trump is saying now, he's laying the blame squarely on China and the World Health Organization. Donald Trump says that China has hidden the scale of this epidemic and that the World Health Organization is too China-centric. But does this absolve him of the responsibility of leading America's battle against COVID-19?
Well, I think that Donald Trump is not the only one who's very critical of China at this point. I mean, and there is a lot of evidence and growing evidence that China suppressed information about the scale and the magnitude of this virus. And of course, it appears to have originated in China. So it's fair to ask a lot of questions about China. But Donald Trump, the president here, is president here in the United States, and his responsibility is to protect the American public. And all through February, he was basically telling people this was nothing to worry about. His administration did not appear to use that time to prepare a diagnostic test that could be used to determine whether Americans were infected with this virus. It wasn't until deep into March that he finally started speaking about this as a serious threat. And by then, it was up to state governors, right? Not the president of the United States. It was governors of California and New York who started ordering people to stay in their homes, to shut schools down, close businesses, close restaurants. and they were much more aggressive than the president was.
Right. Greg Miller, thank you so much for joining us. We'll keep an eye out on this story, certainly, and we'll also keep our viewers informed of the developing situation as far as cases in America is concerned.